Sodium Silicate Texture Covered jar. This is about a little bit less than 5 pounds of clay. So this time I'm pushing the clay down low so that my both my fingertips could reach inside and compress the base. So this is the opening process, and now I'm going to color in. My initial lifting using my left hand. Just pinch the clay. Still keeping the base smaller. So I keep on squeezing the bottom corner, squeeze the clay in. So I start with this wide, but then gradually squeeze it in. So now my base is smaller. That's the one other way of opening. So push the whole piece of clay lower, and then you can use your both hand inside to compress it, and after that you just color to make your cylinder narrow. Since I want to have a nicer crackle surface, crackle texture, so I don't want to make the wall too thin. So leave the wall a little bit of a thickness, a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. Getting rid of all the throwing mark. Keeping the opening a bit smaller, just wide enough for my arm to go in. And since I'm not going to stretch a whole lot here, so might as well to thin down this part here first. Now brushing the sodium silicate over. Okay, so I use the heat gun. It's a little bit powerful, and I don't want to over dry it. I'm using a sponge to push first, and then later I will use my fingertip to do that, because I like the touch of my fingers. But now for the original, I'm using the sponge, because the sponge can also lubricate the inside of the wall too. Okay, now I'm trying to use my fingers to stretch it to get the shape, more control of the shape. So to show you what my finger do inside, you can see that spot here, that. I don't know if you can see it. That's where it touches. Instead of using the very tip to do that, when I'm stretching, I want to use the pad. Okay, the finger tap pad, fingertip tap pad. Okay. Okay, so after finish the bottom, then I will do the very final top, put in the gallery for the lid. maybe I will have my opening a bit bigger, so I am going to trim a little bit clay off. Okay, so this is my number 10 trimming tool. A very nice tip to cut it off without a lot of resistance. Sometimes the needle has a resistance. This is very thin, so no resistance. So I'm keeping this part, the lips, a bit thicker, so I will be able to push the gallery using the wooden rib to do that. So to put a finger underneath to support it while I'm pushing it, so it's like that, pushing it down right there. But your hand has to be very steady, so try to brace your arm somewhere. Right, then after pushing it, just use the chamois to clean it up and smooth. So you just touch it up. So when you are using the chamois, you want to tip over, just use the edge and put your finger there to compress it. Okay, so that's the gallery on the bottom, and then I need to measure for making the lid. So I put gallery here, so I'm going to show you two different kind of lid. Okay, one is the lid with a gallery. This one, the body has a gallery, and you want to have a lid with a gallery too. So actually you need to measure twice. You measure the inner width and then outer width, so that it will fit the the ridge of the lid can drop in easily, and then also the outer part of the lid will fit right there. So it's a little bit complicated when doing 2 gallery on both the body and the lid. So let me put this aside, and then for making the lid I don't need to have a bed, I can just cut it off. So this will be the inner part of the gallery. Okay. So I'm just going to throw up the hump, so I don't need to center the base. Just focus on the top. So this first one will be the upside down lid. So I need to fit 2 parts. One is the inner part for the gallery on the inner part, and then the outer part of the edge of the lid. Since I'm going to trim the knob later, so I will a little bit thicker here, but smaller base, thicker but smaller base. And throw the shallow bowl. That part here, this corner is very nice to fit it inside, smooth. So you have a nicer curve there. Let me check how much I can go. So a little bit more here. So it's about right now. It's right there. So I'm going to use the 90 degrees to push from this corner with my fingers inside to support it. Right, so the width is fine. Okay, so the inner part is taken care. Now I want to measure the outer part. Okay, so a little bit wider. Before I chop to the right size, I want to thin down this part here to make it thinner. So I'm pouring the clay, pour it out a little bit. So that's the lid, and I try to use my finger to squeeze. There's a little ridge here, so that will be the outer part of the lid, and this part here you can trim it later. Okay, remove and trim it easily, or if it bothers you, you could just trim it now. Okay, let me show you how to do that. So get a wooden knife and then just cut. So I removed the extra clay, extra thickness there. And reserve a fair amount of clay for trimming the knob later on. So this is the upside down lid. Measure the inner part and also measure the outer part to fit both gallery on the body and the lid. So it's a little bit more complicated this way. But it will be more professional looking. So that's the lid. And I told you that I would like to show you two different kind of lids. So this time I'm going to show you how if you are going to make the knob first. So again, bring a small amount of clay, and also in the meantime make the base smaller, because later on you are going to cut it off. And then I'm going to reserve the clay in the middle, and using your finger, I'm using this finger to pinch here and then my thumb to squeeze it. So there's the knob. I'm gonna make sure the knob looks nicer. We can use a tool to help you to squeeze that a nicer curve there. So you are not going to trim the knob, so make sure the knob is nice and looks finished. So that's the knob, and now we want to stretch it so the outer part of the lid is sitting on the gallery of the body. So now I'm squeezing, moving the clay outward. double check the size. So I still need to extend it a little bit more. Right, almost there. So now let's just finish it up. Just push it in a little bit too wide, so I'm just going to squeeze it in. And by the way, this is all adjustable. You can always trim it. Okay, so that's the upside down lid. So not upside down lid, it's the lid. You throw the knob and then you just put it in. There's an extra clay here that this is what I usually show people how to take care of that without messed up when you lift it up. So I will use a wooden knife to go underneath and trim as much as I can. Okay, so I take it all the way about here. So just leave a little bit of a clay there. And later on, you can just use the wire to cut it off. Okay, but now for lifting it, if you hold here, you're gonna mess up the outer part. So when you are cutting it, actually you could cut it lower. Okay, so the bottom part, you have still a little bit of clay there. It's like a pedestal, so your lid is sitting on a pedestal. So when you lift the lid, you lift on the pedestal, so it's not going to mess up the shape of the lid. And now just cut it off. Just hold your hand right there on the pedestal. See the pedestal? Right, and later you just cut. Just use a wire to cut it right there. Okay. So that's the throw in the knob first. If you want to make a lid, a different kind of lid, throw the knob first or throw the knob, trim the knob later. Okay, thanks for watching.